Good day, listeners, and thanks for dialing into Mystic Radio once again. Our host, Sarah and Jackson, welcome Jennifer Trainor, originally from the picturesque community of Port Curwen on the southern shore, and an original member of the traditional Irish Newfoundland group, Celtic Connection. This group has fans across the land, and Sarah and Jackson chats with Jennifer about being involved in the Newfoundland music scene for over 25 years.
Introduce yourself to the listeners.
Not a problem, my darling. My name is Jennifer Trainor, and I play with the band Celtic Connection.
You grew up in Port Curwen. What was that like for wanting to start your career?
Oh my gosh. Growing up in the Cove was probably the coolest thing that a childhood could offer. Albeit our little cove was tiny at the time of me growing up. The inshore fishery was bustling. There was lots of little kitchen parties. Um, the Cove brought me a musical experience through just our family, through the Trainer family, having Brian and Bessie's crowd drop by and hearing their harmonies. To my uncle David, God rest him, teaching me some songs down in the house in the Cove. To Gabriella Nolander, inviting me into the Fremuse choir. So I used to sing at a very early age in church choirs. I also did a lot of concerts in school. So being in a little tiny cove, we didn't have a mall. We did, and I know you guys living up in Trapassi that way. So I'm very much my childhood. We had a corner store. You made your own fun, which was lovely, and I'd never change it for all the month of Sundays. I'd never change my childhood. It was the best introduction to a childhood, to a start of what my career being involved in music was. Starting small and figuring it out and having really good people around you to guide you. And that's what I had.
How did you get started with the band?
That's a really good question, Sarah Honey. So for me, um, I was just finished high school in 1992. To me, I'm still Peter Pan, but I graduated in 1992, Glenn Harvey and myself. But I remember Scott Graham reaching out to us. I believe it was July 2nd of 1992. And he reached out to Glenn and I, guys, I gotta, I'm playing this little festival. Let's get together and learn a couple of songs. And literally, that's what we did on July 2nd of 1992. We rehearsed a few songs, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was Molly Ban, I Tell My Ma, and Sam Hall. Those were the three songs that we learned on July 2nd of 1992. Also on that date was when the cod moratorium changed everybody's world that had anything to do with the fishery. So while all that was going on in the political side and the heaviness of it, three of us early Celtic members were in Scott's rec room rehearsing these songs. I was only 17. Scott, I believe, was 14. Glenn was 17. And then a few days later, the three of us did like a little festival in Fremuse. And it was just as well we had to be in Wembley. it was a pretty cool experience. But that was the start of it. July 2nd, 1992. Got asked to learn a few songs to be in a festival, and here we are, nearly 32 years later.
What is your favorite song to perform?
Oh, you know, like when I hear that, I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, so my favorite song to record, it changes, but there's always one that I'll gravitate to. It's A Woman's Heart. I guess because my nan loved that song. Um, you know, A Woman's Heart is a Mary Black tune. It is acoustic guitar, power woman vocal. But anybody can relate to it, isn't it's not just a woman's song, although it's a woman's heart. It's a really pretty song. Quite often, if we're doing a sound check, and I just got to check my vocal and my guitar levels, for the production, I'll probably rip that one out just to get levels. But it's a really cool song. So yeah, woman's heart. But like like a lot of other ones we do too. But that's probably one of my favorites.
What song are you sick of singing?
Well, that's a really good question, Jason. Oh my gosh, what song am I sick of singing? Like, there's always little songs that you do that you've done over and over and over and over again. Um, and I mean, we makes the best of it. I mean, Black Velvet Band. If we've done it a million times, we've done it a trillion times, and we'll probably do it again this weekend when we play out in Bay Roberts Arena. So, I guess some of the trad tunes that everybody does because they're so highly requested. And of course, when people come out to see you, you're putting off a show, but you also want to take requests. So I don't know. There's a couple more, but I'll just say probably Black Velvet Band.
How old were you when you got really interested in music?
Oh wow, that's a really good question too, my darling. Wow, I remember in grade 3, Mrs. Clow chose me in the month of May to sing Immaculate Mary. And I was trying to figure out why she asked me. I guess she saw that she picked up that I could sing. But I was really young. Like I think my first school concert, it was I was in grade 7. Yeah. So I was super young, probably 12 years old when I went to stage.
What instruments do you play?
I play guitar, but back in the day when we used to be touring, I used to play a tambourine and I used to call it ninja because it was so sharp. And I thought I was like, oh my God, I'm the best, tambourine player in the world. I play my Taylor guitar. I also have a Takamine. So I play acoustic guitar.
Where is your favorite place to perform?
Oh, you know, over the course of our 32 years, we've played some pretty cool spots across Canada. But I think for me, my favorite place to play is George Street Festival for a couple of reasons. When you're on stage and when you look out at the crowd, it's a natural bowl of just people. And everybody seems to be on the same level. Everybody wants to have a good time. And the reaction of the crowd, not only do you see them, but you feel it. You feel them clapping and cheering and stuff. It's one that I always look forward to playing. And we're playing it. We're headlining this year, so it's a pretty cool gig.
Have you traveled for performance?
Yes. So we're together now. This summer we'll celebrate 32 years. And in that succession of 32 years, and we're still going strong, and we have great things to be announced, moving forward. But we used to travel across Canada a lot. When we go out on the road, we probably do BC and Alberta, extensive. We'd be on the road for 6 weeks. We've done Ontario. We've done every little pocket of Canada, Whitehorse included. We had the opportunity back in 1998 to go to Tokyo, Japan, to perform. And we did that around Paddy's Day, I believe it was, that whole thing. So we were there for about 7 days and we performed at the Canadian Embassy there. We performed in an Irish bar, believe it or not, in Tokyo. Tokyo is, I guess, devised in different districts or pockets, if you will. It's like the Southern Shore. You go from Ferryland to Calvert or Trepassey and Biscay Bay, all that. So it's broken into little regions. And every region in Tokyo defines if it's visitors or if it's authentic Japanese culture. So we did have the opportunity to play in Japan on Paddy's Day at an Irish bar, and it was absolutely amazing. So was the Canadian Embassy, by the way. That was in March of 1998, I believe. Yes, 98. And then we went back to Tokyo in November of 98 as well. It was played at Temple University. It was cool. So yeah, we did a lot of traveling, absolutely traveled. I'd be home, my suitcase would be there, and then in a blink of an eye, I was packing it again and going on the road. Yeah, we did that for a very long time.
What is your favorite memory with the band?
Oh, wow. There's a lot, Jackson and Sarah. There's a lot of good memories. And how could it not be, a lot of good memories when um, not only are you sharing the stage with your band members, but these are people that you went to school with and are your friends. And when you're on the road, they're your family. One memory, and again, there's a million different memories, but one in particular is we had the opportunity to go to Nain, Labrador on behalf of the province. And I remember after we played at the high school, all these little children, and I had brought down teddy bears, and we gave everybody in the audience a CD. So it must have been around 2000, I believe, is when we went down because it was the Flowers, the Higher album that we brought down. And we signed postcards and we signed this. But at the end of it, all these little children were coming up to me with the cute little gifts for me as a thank you for us to be there. I have to say, it was probably the most heartfelt experience that I can even take. Is that was my takeaway for that. It was such a sweet moment. It was beautiful. Yeah, great memory.
Do you write your own music?
I do. It's been a while. I'm working on a tune now. Um, but yeah, I have published tunes, and I remember the first song I ever wrote was called "Stay." Um, and I mean, it holds a lot of heart to a lot of people even today. It's about two friends that were taken away too soon. And I remember when that happened back in '89, it kind of stunned the shore because a lot of families were impacted. So from that, I wrote that song. And I mean, I wrote it not thinking it was going to be, like a pretty popular tune, not just for stage, but for a lot of, oh, pussycat. I have a cat too. It's surprised she's not in the shot. Um, but yeah,
Really?
Stay is a pretty sweet song. The big heart tune. Yeah. So I've wrote a few more since then on different albums, but Stay was my first song.
Sure, she doesn't take the computer.
Okay. What is the writing process like?
The writing process, it's different for a lot of people, but for me, I would get the melody first, or there could be like a little phrase that just comes to mind, and I'll write it down somewhere, and perhaps from that I'll be able to write an idea of a song. And that's what happened with this one that I'm working on now. I just got an idea, and I just start writing, and then the melody comes. Sometimes it's the melody first, like if I find a cute chord, I'll just build on that. But for me, it's pretty simplistic for me. I'm a vocalist. I say quite often, I play guitar, I get the job done. I'm nothing fancy, but I love singing, and I always did. So I guess for me, finding a pretty little tune on the guitar will open up a melody, and the lyrics. I like to write, so lyrics are easy to find.
Do you have any interest outside music?
Interest, yeah. I like the art stuff, so I like anything that's creative. Um, I would like to say I'm super sporty, but I mean, if the boys were ever to watch this, they'd go, "No, she's not sporty." Um, I think just anything that is colorful that I can kind of tap into. Um, but music is pretty much is a very important thing. My job off of this is that I work dealing with concussion patients, so I have an interest in that, very much a strong interest in helping people with brain injuries too. But the creative side, just like something that makes me happy, just something that I can have my hands on and turn into something sweet.
Is there a certain musician that inspires you?
Oh, so yes. So early at an early age, it would be my uncle David, and I had mentioned him previously. He was a lover of the Beatles, and he played a mean classical guitar. So he opened up my world to that at a very young age. But for me, currently, I mean, if you listen to the radio, there's such cool music out there, you know. I remember one of our earlier rehearsals as Celtic. We were at Barry's house, and it was when Alanis Morissette had just released "Jagged Little Pill." So I thought she was amazing, the best thing since sliced bread. And I had the opportunity to see her last year at Churchill Park, so that was pretty cool. But I remember in 1998 we were in Gabriel Island, and was when Alanis released the Uninvited tune. I thought that was like a big band song. She's all about power vocals and layer and harmonies. So I say her name, but I think anyone out there that can deliver a beautiful layered harmony tune, I find that's what I kind of go towards. Yeah, because I guess that's what I love to do too.
What is your favorite instrument to play?
My favorite instrument to play? Currently, I'm playing my Taylor 414. She is so sweet. I got her in Halifax. But my first ever guitar was a Takamine that I bought in, I think it's 95 or 96. And I just had her, I guess, playable again as a gift from someone special to me. So I have two guitars that I kind of lug around to shows. But yeah, I tried, funny story. It's good to try new things. So I remember at a rehearsal back wheneverville ago, I had the idea that, oh, I should play electric guitar. I'm used to playing acoustic guitar, so going from acoustic to electric, it's a different like attack altogether. It didn't go over very well. Thus, I do not play electric guitar. So acoustic guitars are my playable instrument.
What is your favorite music to listen to?
I like a lot of different stuff. Um, I find it changes. One day I could hear something and I'll Shazam it to kind of figure out like, oh, who's this is a new tune. I like female singers. I always did. I like acoustic stuff, but I like stuff that has a really cool beat that drives you, that moves the room. Um, I like, the newer country. And I like old country too. I guess that comes from my childhood, listening to my Uncle Ed, playing the old cabin party stuff, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's it. Radio stuff, old stuff, lots of genres.
What's your favorite and least favorite part of being a musician?
Favorite part is entertaining. Oh gosh. I think when asked about the least favorite part, it's subjective, meaning when you're tired from your day and you still have to um, get a job done. You got to make that phone call. You got to do deal with contracts. um, if you want to if you're just tired and you want to sit down or just go for a walk, there's responsibilities that come with being a performer. So not that is the least favorite part, it's just trying to find the balance to make it all work. And that comes with the experience of trying to how to manage your time. I guess one thing I would like to add, and I'm sure the boys, after watching this later on when you do release it, the least favorite part is when we go to somewhere new, and if Jennifer is in getting ready and there's a spider in the hotel room, that puts me right off the like. I do not deal well with spiders. And there's a story that we were in Vancouver Island on Hornby Island, and you can Google it. It's a beautiful place. It's the first time I'd ever seen a wolf spider the size of my hand. So since then, that was probably my. I don't like seeing bugs and spiders on the road. Like that puts me on a different level.
What qualities do you think makes a good musician?
What qualities? I guess being open to try new things. Um, and of course, being able to develop a song and make it something wonderful for recording purposes. Being open to suggestions from not only your band members or your friends, but if you're in studio listening to the guidance of a producer. Um, I guess it would be hard to, you know, continue, with this path if, if you were closed-minded. You have to be open-minded to be, I guess, a musician, especially with travel. Because if you're on the road and it's long hours and you pull up and you have to, you sleep in a motel, you play a show, and you're traveling. You have to be open for change with that regard. But that's pretty much how I would answer that one, darling.
Do you or your band plan on releasing any more?
It's funny you should ask. So yes, um, we are. I was just talking to some band members just before I came on with you guys. We are in pre-production now. We will be hitting the studio at some point. We're still trying to figure out exactly when that's going to be. But I would say that you'll hear some stuff new from us probably by the fall. So we're super excited about that. I mean, super excited. Being in the studio is a different vibe altogether as opposed to just, hitting a big stage and doing a live show. When you go into studio, it's you want to represent your best of best because you want to make it the most beautiful thing that you could create. Because when you press record, as we're doing now, it's a moment in history that's going to be with you forever. And so, yeah, we're pretty excited to go back in the studio.
Any advice for performers or someone wanting to start a band?
Oh, just do it. If you or anyone you know is excited or wanting to dabble in music, music is the root of a lot of things creative, and it helps build character. If anybody no have no one ever tell you, oh, whisper, or you can't. Anybody can sing. Um, Anybody can pick up an instrument and play. The more often you do it, um, repetition creates a core memory and a hard wire. So I would suggest if you have your mind to do it, just do it and enjoy every moment and enjoy the mistakes, because you know what? I still make mistakes. I do, and I've been at it for 32 years, but enjoy every moment of it. You'll learn from the errors that you make. If you're playing guitar and you're rehearsing and your fingers are sore, mine were sore too. Mine are all calloused now. I mean, I can't feel it, I can't feel the tops of them. But I remember when I first started, my gosh, did they ever be sore and indented, and they were just like biles. But you keep doing it. Continue to do music. Music is very important. It's absolutely the most important thing that you can do in school. And I say that wholeheartedly.
Where can people find your music?
Well, we have our Facebook page, we're Celtic Connection. We're on YouTube. So on, yeah, those platforms, all the streaming sites, Spotify, Apple Music, you'll find our stuff there. And once we get our new material out too, like you'll be able to find it, in all those particular things. Facebook, and I will add, when we started in 1992, there was no Facebook. There was nothing like that. And it was only recently that Celtic created a Facebook page. Well, I mean, that was the best thing since sliced bread in my particular thing. I mean, and I'm overseeing this and seeing people follow and like. Oh my gosh, it's so lovely to reach out to people. So yes, you'll be able to find us pretty quick.
Could you sing a little bit for us?
Oh my gosh. Can I sing? I suppose I could. I don't have my guitar, but I could, I could, I could do a little bit of a cappella song, I guess. I usually have my Takamine or my Taylor. Um, hmm, I don't
Sprung it
know.
on you.
What's that?
We sprung it on you.
I know, but I love that. I wish I had known. Um, hmm, I don't
I
know
don't
if I
know if
can
it's
source
around
it
here, so
quick.
you just go grab it.
Yeah, I don't know if we could, what editing you guys can do, but I mean, I could probably go grab it quick if that's something.
Okay.
Okay, just bear with me. Okay.
Take your time.
I had to check and see if she was if she was in tune. And she's kind of in tune. Take out the feedback buster. This is my Taylor. It's gonna be reversed for recording, but the gist is there. Yeah, I got this guitar in Halifax. Oh my gosh, she's like the best thing ever. I don't know. This is cute. I didn't know I was gonna be playing. This is Molly Bond. This is one of my favorites because this was the first song that we ever learned back in like 1992. So I'll just do a verse and a little something something. Now I am sad and lonely out in the distant west. The happy dreams of bygone days at night disturb my rest. It's in this faithful heart of mine, forgot and never will be, are the days I spent with Molly Bone aboard an on for she was young and slender and gentle as a fawn. Her eyes did shine like diamonds bright, like stars of early dawn. Her smile she had for every lad, but her kisses were all for me. And in trance I gazed on Molly Bone aboard an on-off-me. Yes, in trance I gazed on Molly Bone aboard an on-off-me. It's longer, but I just did it a little bit.
That was perfect.
Oh, and she's a bit out of tune too, so I thought she's not fully in tune. But
Sounded great.
oh, thank you guys. This was a pleasure. Yeah, this was really cool. Really
We
cool.
really appreciate you.
Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. Thanks for inviting me and thanks for including me.